Hello everyone and welcome to the 12th episode of DualShockers WeebCast. I'm Giuseppe Nelva and today I will be your host as usual. If you're not familiar with the WeebCast, it's a weekly podcast in which I talk about all things Japanese, of course focusing on games, but also including some excursions into anime, manga, Japanese geeking culture and more. Today's theme is all about the big Japanese games that were missing at E3. In the 10th episode of the WeebCast, I talked about what we saw, and in this one, I'm going to talk about what we didn't. And there was quite a bit of that. But before we get into that, let's talk a bit about anime and games that we played and we saw in the past week. About games, I've been pretty much playing like Western game mostly because of reviews and obligations and stuff. I've been grinding like crazy Marvel Alternative Strike Frontier because it's closing in 3 days. So I'm trying to see as much as I can of the game before it goes the way of the dodo, saving some of it as well. Because, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a memento of something you liked. Other than that, I've been playing some Final Fantasy XIV as well, and some Grand Blue Fantasy, and that's pretty much it for Japanese games. Of course, the big one is the anime season that finished. So pretty much like a lot of the anime series that have been enjoying in the spring season have finally finished, which means that there are quite a few that are still going on. They are going for the full 24 episode stream into the summer season, but a lot of them have finished. So there have been this anime season, like the spring anime season was fantastic. There was some real classic like Megalobox. There were some great ones like Wotakoi. Quite a few romantic anime that did quite well, like Tadakun and Wotakoi are pretty much my favorites. Also 3D Kanojo was not bad. But really, we of course got Full Metal Panic, that was great. We got Legend of the Galactic Heroes was fantastic. And of course, I think many of you guys that have seen the Legend of the Galactic Heroes now want to go watch the full old series, and you really should. That's really worth watching all the 110, I believe. It's around 110 episodes of the old series, and every single one is worth watching. There is some filler, but not filler in the idea that we have nowadays of filler. There are slower episodes, let's say, but if you watch the new series, you probably know the Legend of the Galactic Heroes is not a quick series. It has slow moments, but they are good slow moments. The next season starts next week, and there is quite a lot to watch. I'm probably going to talk about this more in detail next week itself. But there are quite a few interesting ones. Of course, there are quite a few anime that are continuing from last season. So we're gonna see more Persona 5. We're gonna see, let's see, what's not new. New My Hero Academia. There are quite a few. And of course there is it's summer, so the kids are out of school, which means that there are going to be quite a few more kids anime than in other seasons. So yeah, let's say that the summer season is slightly more kid oriented normally, so there aren't as many series that are interesting to adults, but there are quite a few. We're finally getting the third season of Attack on Titan, so that's a big one, and I'm sure I'm going to like it. For Overlord fans, the third season is gonna start as well. That's in 8 days from now. That's on July 10th. While let's see, there are quite a few ecchi anime in this series, in this season. For some reason, they're all gathered in this season. It's definitely interesting that they all releasing in the same season. There is more than usual, strangely, because summer is normally more a kid thing. But let's see, a new Fate series. There are quite a lot, definitely. And it's though looking at it from a like eyeballing the season that's coming, it does not seem to be a season as good as the previous one, which is normal. It's actually pretty usual that the summer season is not the best. There is the new series named Angol-moi Gengoku Kasenki, which I've been talking about for a while, and that's basically the same setting as Ghost of Tsushima. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Ghost of Tsushima by Sucker Punch. And that's actually interesting because many of you that don't know much about the first Mongol invasion of Japan, they're going to actually have an interesting time actually seeing some of the history behind it in this series. It has, of course, fictional elements and all that, but it's a quite historical series. So, it's a good way to get introduced to the period, and besides just going, and starting to do actual research on it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which one of these anime that are coming out are going to be the winners of the season, but I'm going to talk about it more, next week, since that's when they're gonna start. So I can like blurb for half an hour about them, but I don't yet know much about what's gonna be good and what is not going to be good. So let's talk about what games we expected, or some of us expected at E3, but didn't make an appearance at all. So let's start about the big one. I mean, the big, let's say, conference, but it wasn't exactly a conference. It was a presentation. It was a video stream, a video presentation, and kind of like, almost like Nintendo Direct style. That was Square Enix's. It was a lightning video. It was like 30 minutes, I believe, super fast, and literally we were covering it on Discord, covering it with the rest of the team at DualShockers, and when it ended, we were like, is that it? Really? Oh my god. So we were like at least expecting like a last surprise, one more thing at the end, but didn't really come. So it was baffling a bit. So, of course, the big one that was missing was the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've been hearing that it's in full production now, that it's we haven't been hearing much. We've been hearing that production is going well. But Square Enix isn't showing anything, and it hasn't been showing anything for a while. Which we also got an admission by Nomura-san, Tetsuya Nomura, that it was announced early. Very early. Actually, I've seen quite a few website titling, that he said it was announced too early, but he actually said very early. It didn't say too early. Which someone would say is the same thing, but it's kind of a different nuance, and, titling too early is actually a bit of misrepresentation of what Nomura-san said, but it was definitely announced very early. And Nomura-san said that there were rumors about it, and instead of having it just leak, he preferred to just announce it officially, which is not a stance that is difficult to understand. Because, of course, when a game leaks, all those careful preparations to like surprise the audience and start on the right foot of the hype go down the drain. So it's understandable. Of course, there is also the side effect that when you announce very early, then the hype kind of goes down gradually as people don't see anything more new. And that's the problem. Like right now, we have been years. I mean, almost 2 years. I don't actually remember when the last time was, which is an indication because I don't even remember when we saw the last time the game. We are continuing to hear a little bit, some interviews, some little hints, but not much. It seemed like the last thing we saw was a small picture-in-picture inside a photograph of the studio that was like almost nicked there, and like, really, come on. I definitely expected it because they've been talking about it in having interviews. So I expected definitely to see something new about the game, but we didn't. And of course, we have to understand that they kinda scrapped quite a bit of we don't know how much they scrapped when they moved away from, development at CyberConnect 2 back into in-house development. But whether they scrapped everything or just something, probably just something, because it's difficult to see that they scrapped everything of the game. That's still time lost. So of course, I'm pretty sure that when they announced it, they expected to release it like earlier than what's gonna happen. But the fact that they had to change development to in-house, that's probably something that put a big wrench into the wheel. So, there is that. That being said, maybe it would be time to show something about it, at least to, give us an idea of what's happening. Square Enix has been doing this for a while. They've been announcing games very early, then showing something about them, and then not showing them anything for years, and then coming back. And I don't think that's the best thing for hype and even for marketing, from their marketing point of view. I believe what Capcom has been doing, personally, I don't mind waiting for games. You guys know that. I don't lack games to play. No one of us really does. We have plenty of games to play. So it's fine if developers take their time. But I believe that what Capcom does lately, which is announcing a game 6 months after it's out, that is better from a marketing point of view. And with Monster Hunter World and Resident Evil 7, it paid dividends for them. So maybe Square Enix should start considering this kind of policy. That was not the only thing that was missing at Square Enix conference, video showcase. There was Left Alive, that really seemed promising when we saw it, and the director actually said that we would know more about it soon, but we haven't. It's been months since he said that, and I actually wonder if there wasn't a reveal planned for E3, but maybe it didn't go through or something. Maybe they just decided to keep it for Tokyo Game Show. After all, the game was announced at Tokyo Game Show, so I wouldn't be surprised it was showcased again at Tokyo Game Show. It's been announced for 2018, but at this point, I'm a bit doubtful that it will actually come out 2018. If you don't remember what Left Alive is, it's a survival action shooter, sorry, set in the same world as Front Mission series, and it has a very, very star-spangled staff, including the Metal Gear character design Yoji Shinkawa. So that's a game that I really, really am looking forward to. Unfortunately, we really don't know at what point it is. They say that the development is at the good point, and now they're more polishing and stuff, but they haven't been showing it. So we don't know exactly what's gonna happen with that. I do not think it's gonna come by this year, because if they even announce the release date at Tokyo Game Show, are they going to announce a release date in September with a release before December? If it happens, that's awesome. And then we have Kingdom Hearts coming in January. And I don't know, would Square Enix release two big games that close to each other? Okay, the scope of the games is different. Left Alive is more of an AA game than an AAA game, but still, that's, I don't know. I think at this point we are looking deep into the spring 2019. I may be wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm happy. If it gets here before Christmas, I'm super happy because I'm really looking forward to it. But I don't know. The other missing thing was, kinda Babylon's Fall by Platinum Games. And I mean, yeah, we saw a trailer. We didn't saw anything else besides the cinematic trailer, so we know nothing about the game. And Square Enix said absolutely zero about it. They didn't say what the game is about. They just said it's a new partnership with Platinum Games. And I put it in between the missing things, not because we saw it, so it wasn't completely missing. What it was missing that I expected was to see a sequel to Nier Automata. Not necessarily a sequel, but a new Nier game. Considering the success of Nier Automata. At this point, we saw that the partnership between Square Enix and Platinum Games has moved into this Babylon Fall. I don't think that Yoko Taro is involved. It'd be interesting to see if there will be anything else soonish by Yoko Taro with Square Enix, but at the moment we do not know that. Then moving off from Square Enix, I think we have nailed. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm not disappointed that these games are not there. And not just Square Enix, but any games that I'm talking about, because I understand that developers need their time to show them, and I'm okay with that. So I'm surprised, not disappointed. I'm pretty sure that we'll see them down the line, even if we didn't see them in E3. They have to keep something for Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show after all. And many of Japanese games definitely, surely are more focused for Tokyo Game Show, so they probably get a more receptive audience there, even if less maybe worldwide focused and more like Japanese focused, but I can see why a lot of Japanese developers prefer to keep some of their big shot games for Tokyo Game Show, because it's their home turf. So it's not surprising. Another game that was missing at E3, and it wasn't completely missing, but it wasn't during E3. Like Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, they did not actually showcase it in official, like, public manner at E3. They had the new trailer released the 2 days after E3. Actually the day after E3, I believe. And, that, I don't consider that part of E3, but that was just one trailer and it didn't show that much new. So, like, during E3 that they shown the same trailer, but only behind closed doors at two journalists. Actually, our colleagues, Thomas, had seen the trailer before. In the trailer we did see, which was missing in the trailer was publicly showcased. There was a tease that the game would be present at Gamescom, and, producer Kazutoki Kono-san said on Famitsu that the release date announcement is imminent. So I'm expecting to see a release date announcement at Gamescom. I expect to be able to play it there, which is something that I'm really looking forward to, because you know I'm a big Ace Combat fanboy. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting my hands again on the game and possibly getting you some footage that doesn't look like crap. So because you know that we will definitely try to get some good footage of Ace Combat, but we'll see what happens. Now, another game that moving off Bandai Namco, let's move to Atlas. Another game that definitely was missing is the new Shin Megami Tensei for Switch. I expected to see something of that, especially since the Western release had already been announced, not the date, but we know that it's gonna come to the West, not surprisingly, but we really haven't seen much. We have seen a bit of a teaser, we've seen a small teaser at the beginning and then a bigger teaser, going forward. That was really interesting, set in Tokyo, but it was like before we see it was before a certain apocalypse, and then after, it was definitely interesting to see the Shinagawa station. So I'm looking forward to see more of Shin Megami Tensei 5 or V or however you want to call it. But yeah, that was completely absent from Atlas lineup at E3. Another one definitely missing was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim by Vanillaware. published by Atlas. And that's interesting because we actually don't know yet what platforms the game is coming for in the West. We know it's coming to PS4 and PS Vita in Japan, and the game hasn't been shown much lately at all. The last big appearance, I believe, was last year, and the interesting thing is that sorry, you're probably hearing an ambulance or something outside. If you don't, better. In any case, there has been a small appearance of the game in a trailer by Sony, a PlayStation 4 trailer in Japan, that put it into the games coming soon. So I'm guessing that it's still a 2018 release. It has not been like massively delayed or something like that. The thing is that for the West, we haven't heard anything about it recently. We actually haven't seen much about the game at all, and it's a mystery, really, and we don't know if it's coming in for the Switch, for instance, in the West, or if it's coming just for PS4 and PC or something like that. Because definitely, I doubt. Okay, not definitely, but I doubt that Atlas USA is going to release it for the Vita. So that they're probably going to be like other platforms in the West. We'll see. We did see Catherine, the remake of Catherine, so that's always good. Just a trailer, but still better than nothing. Now, another thing that was missing was Shenmue anything. Shenmue 3 did not appear. Shenmue 1 and 2 did not appear as well. Of course, they're two different publishers. Shenmue 1 and 2 is published still by Sega, and Shenmue 3 is published by Deep Silver, which means that I am a bit expecting to see Shenmue 3 at Gamescom, because that's Deep Silver's home tour, pretty much. Deep Silver is very, very big on Gamescom. In fact, last year at Gamescom, they had Yu Suzuki there. But we'll see. We really don't know. And, Shenmue 1 and 2, like Sega did have a pretty sizable, presence, but they did not show anything new about Shenmue 1 and 2, which honestly, it's not bothering, because in the end, we know that it's coming. I don't think they're gonna have any trouble releasing it. It's just a remaster. They're even not doing that much work on it, so it's coming. We've already seen what it looks like years ago. So this is going to look a little better with higher resolution and all. But it's not going. It's Shenmue 1 and 2. It's nothing like super new there. But I was still missing. So we didn't get any Shenmue at all at E3. Now. Of course, there is more. There is another big thing. I'm talking that Square Enix pretty much had a Nintendo Direct like presentation, and Nintendo its own Nintendo Direct presentation. So, and this pretty much like was a little baffling, because basically everything was missing besides Smash Bros. So we didn't see Metroid Prime, we didn't see Pokemon, the actual hardcore real Pokemon that's gonna come next year. We didn't see Yoshi, we didn't see the Bayonetta 3. And also I was definitely expecting to see some Bayonetta 3, but we didn't. I guess that Nintendo is a bit more focused on its, like, year-round Direct, so it doesn't really need to, push like E3 that much. They just do year-round news dissemination. So their E3 was just mostly a presentation of Smash Bros. But yeah, the lack of Bayonetta 3 among all of them is the one that I was surprised by. Also, I was surprised that we didn't see a port for Wonderful 101 by Platinum Games for the Switch, because Platinum Games has been teasing it like ruthlessly for a while, but sorry. So I really was expecting to see Wonderful 101 on the Switch at E3, but we didn't. So I guess it's gonna be some other time. I'm not sure when or why or what's gonna happen, but I'm pretty sure it's coming, because they wouldn't be teasing it all that much in order if they didn't have plans. Maybe if it didn't have actually work done on it already. Unless they're trying to pressure Nintendo, but I doubt it. Honestly, I think they're already working on it and all. Moving on to the Bethesda press conference. Yes, there are Japanese games there as well. We didn't see anything from Tango. I was surprised there because it's been a while. It's been a little while, so I was thinking they already have. Well, I'm sure they already have something new in the works, but apparently they aren't ready to show it. So yeah, that's another thing that was missing, and I was a little bit surprised there because they have been announcing things at E3. They've been showing things at E3. Quite a bit, so we'll see. Sorry, someone actually messaged me on Discord, and I was like, what the hell is that? But yeah, no Tango so far. And then there are there are a couple of things more that I'm gonna talk about. One is Deep Down. Okay, that wasn't something that I expected to see at E3. Capcom has been continuing to, as you probably read on DualShockers, to renew the trademark of the game, but they haven't said a pip. They haven't talked about it for 3 years by now, I believe, or 2 or 3 years, a long time. They haven't seen anything in official capacity. I'm pretty sure that the engine, I'm not pretty sure, not because I heard about it, but because logic tells me that the engine, the Panther Ray engine is gone. Because now Capcom seems to be all about the Resident Evil engine that they used for Resident Evil 7, and they used it for other games as well. They're starting to spread it around to all their games. They're big, high-profile games at the moment. So I think they don't need the Panther Ray engine anymore. So there are two possibilities. Possibility number one is that this Deep Down is gone, cancelled. And that's possible. Even if they haven't officially admitted it, and they refuse to, there is the possibility that it is cancelled. And then there is a possibility that they are completely repurposing it into the Resident Evil engine. And that's also a possibility. But I wasn't surprised that it wasn't there. And I would say that, I don't know, I think the last chance for hearing something about it is possibly this Tokyo Game Show that's gonna come in September. I don't know, never say never, but if I don't hear about it then, I'm going to just give up hope. And, if it comes, it comes. That's great. But, who knows about that? There was also some people that were rumoring about a new Onimusha or a remaster, stuff like that, or even a new Dragon Dogma. But, those are pipe dreams. I really hope that we'll see them sooner or later, but, I'm not holding my breath. And if they come, I'll be happy. Definitely. I'll be very, very, very happy. But at the moment, I don't see that happening really soon. At the moment I see a new Onimusha right there on the screen at some conference, I'm going to stand and scream. The same goes for a new Dragon's Dogma. I guess Capcom is all over its MMORPG or online RPG, Dragon's Dogma Online. So they don't see the need to make a new one, but, I would really like to play a new Dragon's Dogma. But yeah, we'll see. Also Capcom, there were some rumors that Capcom would present a new fighting game, but that didn't happen. What fighting game I want from Capcom? I definitely want a new Rival Schools from them, or Shuritsu Justice Gakuen as Japanese title goes. But again, that's another thing that's a pipe dream, and I don't know if it's ever gonna happen. I would definitely love to see them, move from something a little different from the usual Street Fighter. We'll see. We'll see if it ever happens. But yeah, another thing that was missing was, any Ninja Gaiden news from Koei Tecmo. Not that I expected them, but, we have been waiting for a long time, for new Ninja Gaiden. And, I don't know if it's ever gonna happen at the moment. It's probably gonna happen sooner or later, but not now. Definitely, Team Ninja is working very hard for sure on Dead or Alive 6, which actually has a pretty close release window because it's early 2019. So probably they're not dedicating their resources to anything else besides the new Neo as well. They're been working on that as well, so that they already have their hands full. And I guess Neo is kind of new Ninja Gaiden in some ways. So. And then there is another one that I definitely was not expecting, but someone keeps rumoring about that, and it's Bloodborne 2. I don't have any official word about this or any unofficial source. But I don't think Bloodborne 2 is ever happening. I think From Software moved on from that. And I think their deal with Sony is being fulfilled with, the Racine, or however, the Racine, or however you pronounce that, the VR game that they announced. Other than that, I do not think Bloodborne 2 is ever coming. As if it's ever coming, I don't think it's in development now. If it could come years down the line. I really do not think that at this moment in time it's being worked on. We'll see. I may be wrong. I don't have insider sources or anything. That's my feeling, and that's my feeling also from what people at From Software said, and interviews and whatnot. I definitely do not think it's in the cards right now. We'll see. But, if you today there was today, it's gonna be yesterday for you when you see this, when you listen to this podcast, there was, a Bloodborne 2 appearing on Amazon Italy, and I'm pretty sure that got some people's hopes up. But that leak, between obligatory air quotes, it's not a leak, it's just someone that made a mistake, was probably some placeholder or something like that. Also include, Sunset Overdrive 2. And we have been told from multiple sources that publicly said that, Sunset Overdrive 2 is not in the works. And it's not surprising because it didn't sell all that much, and I doubt Microsoft is financing it at all. And of course Insomniac is not doing it by themselves. Also Insomniac is very, very busy with the biggest team they ever had on Spider-Man. So I don't think I think that the presence of Sunset Overdrive 2 in that complete leak, in that, listing mistake completely disproves its veridicity. So don't get your hopes up for Bloodborne 2. That's my idea. That's what I think. We'll see. But again, as usual, I don't have the written word of God. So again, if you believe that it's coming, you're free to believe that it's coming. I do not believe so. And we'll see who's right. So this is it for the games that were missing that I definitely expected at E3. Probably I forgot about some of them, but I think this is a pretty interesting list, and I'm sure many of them we will see at Gamescom or even better at Tokyo Game Show. I don't know which ones, but I'm hoping that at least by Tokyo Game Show we're finally gonna see some Final Fantasy VII Remake, Square Enix, and some Left Alive as well. And I guess all of them, of all the games that I've been talking about. So yeah, it's time. The only games that we may not see by them, I'm pretty sure we will not, are the Nintendo ones, because Nintendo does not participate in Tokyo Game Show. And that's a historical thing. I actually don't know why, but they always refuse to. May have to do with rivalry between Tokyo and Kyoto. I don't know. It's something that has been going on for years, so I really don't know why. In any case, those are the games that I'm sure reasonably sure they will not appear by then. Now, I think we beat this topic like a dead horse, so we can move on to the news. First news for this week was that the words ended with you for Final Remix for Nintendo Switch as a Japanese release date, and that's September 27. It still does not have a Western release date. Yesterday, and I mean today, but for me, but yesterday for you, we got some new screenshot also showing the difference with the 3D, with the DS version, and certainly the art improved a lot. It's a lot less pixelated. The resolution is great. And actually very interesting because most remasters are done by just raising the resolution, and that improves the visual, but not that much. When you actually can alter your artwork, like your 2D artwork, in higher resolution, the results are pretty big. So it's a big improvement. Nier Automata has finally been released on Xbox One, and if you really care for Japanese games and you're on Xbox One, you probably should give it a try. Yokai Watch World was announced for mobile, actually announced and released in Japan. Yokai Watch World is basically Level 5's take on the Pokemon Go concept, but it's a little bit different, and it's interesting. It would be interesting to see if it works. Yokai Watch is very, very popular between kids in Japan. So it's of course not popular as Pokemon, but it's still popular. So we'll see. Utawarerumo Zan, which is the action game they're working on, action RPG they're working on, also got a new trailer showing the opening cutscene, and it was really great. And that's one game that I'm looking forward to and hoping that it comes west. Especially since it's a new take on the series, and I really want to see if it plays well in the action RPG series genre. Then we got a super adorable announcement from Bandai Namco, which is Nekotomo, which is a really, really cute cat simulator thingy that it's great if you have like a girlfriend to play with, or like kids or little cousins or whatever, and that's only for the Switch and the 3DS. I guess that fits the Nintendo audience very much, and that's a little game to look forward to if you were missing games like Nintendo Dogs, and it's like spin-offs and clones, but yeah, it was interesting. Then Fighting X Layer, EX Layer, or however you pronounce it, Fighting EX Layer, I think is the correct pronunciation, which is a spiritual successor or Street Fighter EX, celebrates its release with it got released on like just a few days ago, and I haven't played it yet, but I've been hearing good things about the gameplay. So if you are interested in that kind of game, you should probably give it a look. It's only PS4 so far, but they are not excluding a PC release on Steam. That being said, it's super small team that pretty much gave me the impression that they were kind of betting everything on this game. So if you want Arika to stay around, maybe you should support them. Now, a new event is coming to Monster Hunter World, which is the Summer Twilight Fest. It's coming on July 13, and we're getting back pretty much all the quests, all the event quests that have been around since the launch of the game. The quest schedule was ginormous. There's going to be special game bonuses, limited bounties, surprises and stuff. There is also going to be costumes for the handler and the Pudgy. So it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. Pretty much like the spring one. This one is the summer one. So events in Monster Hunter World is pretty nice. Then we get a release date for Japan for World End Syndrome. For PS4, PS Vita, and Nintendo Switch. This is actually an interesting game because it's a visual novel. One of those visual novels that mix mystery and romance. So it's a little bit darker than usual horror visual novel. It's still a horror game, but it's a little bit darker. And I don't know how dark because this kind of games kind of keep it under wraps for a little bit. But it's coming on August 30th. And in Japan, we don't know if it has a if it will have a Western release. But yeah, it's a visual novel, but the art is by the same artist that created the BlazBlue series. So the characters of BlazBlue series. So it's very recognizable, even if it's in a different environment. Then we got the PC system requirements for Shenmue 3. I'm actually going to read them because those are interesting. And okay, here they are. OS, it's usual. Windows 10, they require a 64-bit or operating system, which is not surprising. Core i5 or better, quad core or better, that's pretty much normal. 4 gigabytes of RAM is actually pretty kind nowadays. A lot of developers, especially the ones that focus on consoles, ask 8, so 4 is good. And then again, the video card is a GeForce GTX 650 Ti or better, which is also pretty generous. So, it's the only draconian requirement is 100 gigabytes on disk space. And that's a lot. I guess they're gonna have a lot of high resolution textures or stuff like that, but I was surprised to see that's a big game. At least a game with big assets, because as usual, big assets that do not normally or like necessarily translate in a big game. Of course, I think it's gonna be a big game because it's a Shenmue game. But yeah, if you don't have like a super duper great computer, it's probably still gonna run. Personally, I backed the game, so disclaimer, and I ordered the PS4 version because I think it's gonna be better optimized than PS4. Even if I normally am a PC gamer, for a game like Shenmue, considering its console heritage, I just got the PS4 version. Then Nikali's Blaze Strangers, which is the fighting game, a crossover fighting game with the super snazzy opening animation, has a release date for Nintendo Switch, PC, and PlayStation 4, and that's gonna come on August 28th. And that looked really good when I saw it. Looked really fun with some really solid 2D gameplay, and it has Solange, so that's one of my that's the characters I'm really like. So that's great. Now we talk about a couple mobile games. It's been a pretty harsh period for smaller mobile games in Japan. Stardy Girls by Kadokawa Game is shutting down in July, at the end of July. And the team has been saying that they're now going to focus on the console game of the same series. If you're not familiar with Starly Girls, it's basically a mix between waifus and mechas, and it was actually a very high budget game with an anime project linked to it, with really high profile voice actresses. So yeah, it must have been a bit of a blow for Kadokawa Games to have to drop it, but they announced the console games. We don't know what consoles is coming for. We actually know really little about it, like almost nothing. We know that it's about Starly Girls, but I really don't know anything else. I expect to see an announcement and a reveal by Tokyo Game Show, but we'll see if it comes. And more mobile game troubles. Terra Battle 2 by Hironobu Sakaguchi's Miss Walker is closing in Japan as well. Earlier this month, it was announced that they would close the American servers, which made me think that they would go on with the Japanese series. But there has been another problem, which is that Silicon Studio, which worked on the game, used to do the technical aspect of the game, the programming and coding and everything, decided to divest its gaming business into another company. It's called Creek and River, something like that. And they decided to withdraw from game development as Silicon Studio, and they quit on Terra Battle 2, which kind of forced Miss Walker to just close the game. I believe that also means, I believe that the game was not successful. Like, the fact that Silicon Studio is quitting on development is, I don't think, the only reason. Because honestly, if it was successful, they would give it another developer and it would go on. Like, for instance, like Bethesda did with Elder Scrolls Legend. Instead, they just decided to quit on it, which probably means that the game is not successful. Which I don't think is like incredible, because they continued like working on Terra Battle in parallel with Terra Battle 2. That was a little bit of a strange engagement, and we still don't know anything about the console version that they promised. Okay, it wasn't the Kickstarter goal promise, but it was the download starter. So it's still a promise they made, and you know, now they haven't been talking about it for a while, and I think some people are upset about it, especially since, you know, that was supposed to be the grand return of Hironobu Sakaguchi, which is, for the ones that are not familiar with it, he's the father or the creator of Final Fantasy to consoles. And I don't know. I don't know if now they're working on their Terra Wars, which is another mobile game, but I think with another external developer, I don't know exactly what Mistworker is doing, honestly. Personally, I would want to see nothing more than Hironobu Sakaguchi to return to make a real deal, solid JRPGs on consoles. To be honest, while I do not wish lack of success to any game, so I'm not devastated, I guess, but I'm still sad Terra Battle 2 has to close. I wonder and I hope that Sakaguchi-san will finally realize, okay, the mobile game market has at its prime. Now it's declining a little bit in Japan. Maybe it's time to go back to consoles, because consoles have been in the rise. So maybe you should consider that. And I really hope that it will. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the news for this week. For once, I managed to keep this the episode a little bit shorter. We're clocking in at 46 minutes. Yeah, it's not as short as I expected. But anyway, at least I've been under an hour. Praise me for that. In any case, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As usual, if you enjoyed the episode, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to it and tell it about the show to your friends. And again, if you have criticism, please write it in the comments. And also if you have suggestions for future episodes, please let us know so we can always improve, because, I'm doing it by myself now, and I hope I'm doing decent, but obviously I'm not a professional podcaster. I do it because I'm a weeb and I want to evangelize you guys on the religion of weebness. No, I'm kind of kidding, but yeah, I'm just trying to talk about what I love, and I'm sure I don't do it very professionally or in a absolutely fantastic manner, or even just good. But I hope it's still entertaining. At least you get to listen to my silly Italian accent.